Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Katie Dalebout, your host, and this is another episode of my favorite/gratitudes for the month of January 2017 and December, because I think I haven't recorded one of these in a while. But it's not a usual interview episode. It is a favorites episode where I tell you about things that I'm grateful for, things I've been enjoying, things I've been loving that I think you guys might love too. So there'll be a fresh interview next week, but this week I am going to tell you about some stuff that I've been pretty into. And you might hear some background music. My roommate is rehearsing for this really cool benefit concert. So that's a lovely perk of this episode, if you will. I hope you enjoy it. She's so talented. Her and our friend Drew from high school, they're so cool. He's playing the guitar, she's singing. I'm watching it in the big room of our apartment. I really love it here. I love my apartment. It's such a cool place. Maybe if you guys follow me on social media, you've seen it, but I live in this really cool old, maybe I haven't told you guys about this, but I live in this old 70s apartment that's straight from a time capsule. It has a really cool porch, and my room is humongous with a really old light fixture I'm looking up at right now, and we have this big room with a fireplace, and it's great for having parties. And anyway, I just love it here. I love my roommate, and I'm just smiling hearing her sing right now. And I was going to wait to record this, but I really actually need to get it done because I'm going to be out of town this weekend, and I need to send it over to Amanda to edit it so we can get it up for next week. And anyway, I'm doing it now, so I hope you like the background music and you can hear this okay. I'm sure you can. Alright, so there's lots of negativity, lots of fear happening in the world, and it's just a lot, and I just want to send love to everyone who's feeling lots of feelings during this time. And I am not ignoring what's happening in the world, but I'm not qualified to really talk about it right now, and that's kind of an excuse. I think I just want this to be a place of positivity where I'm showing something good, something true, and this is what has, made me really happy in the last month or so. So that's what I'm going to be sharing. I hope that's cool. I hope that's okay with everyone. Let me start with the category of podcasts. So I have been listening to lots of podcasts as usual. I love Call Your Girlfriend. I like what they're talking about the election, and it's been really good. There's been a lot of good dialogue there on Dear Sugar Radio. That's been really comforting for me. Cheryl Strayed and Steve Almond have been doing a fantastic job talking about the election in a really mindful way. I've been listening to a lot of comedy podcasts like my friend Pete Holmes, You Made It Weird, and I really loved listening to the podcast 10% Happier with Dan Harris. He had Josh Radnor, friend of the podcast, who we all love and we know that I love. I loved listening to him on that podcast about a month ago. I think it was in December that he was on, which I really loved. I've been loving listening to Women of the Hour, which is Lena Dunham's podcast. That's had some great episodes. My friend from college has this podcast that she's been working on for Gimlet Media called Undone, and that has been really great to listen to. And Refinery 29 is doing this podcast called Unstyled that I've really enjoyed over the last couple months. So those are a bunch to check out right now. And my friend Jess Mernan, friend of the podcast, she's been on the show before. She's going to be on the show again. She's actually my person, spoiler alert when I get to person, but she's starting a new podcast. It's called The Cookbook Deal, and it's kind of like Startup if you listen to that one, but she recorded the entire year of her life where she got a crazy cookbook deal and executed writing a cookbook, and it's going to be great. I haven't heard much of it other than a couple clips here and there, but I'm so excited to listen along to that. So that's something to look forward to. You wonder if you ever find your dreams. So what else I've been listening to is music. I've been listening to a lot of really good music. I've been making playlists every month like I normally do. And I was really excited for probably about 2 months when I found out that the XX had their latest album coming out in January. I really was looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint. I really like it. It's different than their first album and their second album, but is also really great. So I've been loving listening to that. And my friend made this really great playlist. We were going on a road trip, and he made this really lovely playlist that made me feel all of these feelings and reminded me of getting mixed CDs when I was in high school and college, and it felt like somebody made a mixed CD for me, which I loved so much. So we listened to it in the background of really deep, lovely conversations as we drove 4 hours to go visit friend of the podcast, Simi and Tim, and their new baby in Columbus, and we listened to this playlist. So I'll put the link to that in the show notes. I linked to it already in my newsletter. If you aren't on my newsletter, you should be on the newsletter list. I sent the playlist in that. But anyway, so that's what I've been listening to this month. And you can follow me on Spotify for up to the minute of what I'm listening to in real time, which might be weird because sometimes you're like listening to your Discover Weekly and it's a weird song you would never normally listen to. But anyway, if you want to find out what I'm listening to, Spotify is probably the best way. What have you guys been listening to? I would love to know.
If you know what it means to find your dreams.
Anyway, alright, so TV show. I haven't really been watching any TV, much TV at all, but I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos, which I link to, again, in my newsletter that I send out about once a month-ish, however often I can get it out. I link to a whole bunch of YouTube videos that I was watching in kind of like all different categories. So sign up for the newsletter list. And if you're on the newsletter list or if you're not, either way, let me know, what do you guys think I should call it? I want to call it like something cool. And Josh Radnor sends one out and he calls it the Muse-letter, which I love, and I can't steal that. I want to, kind of, but we got to come up with something creative on our own. So whoever can come up with something, send it to me, and whichever one I like the best, I'll send you a prize. I'll send you like a book, one of my books, and whatever else, maybe a couple of my favorite things I'll send to you. So let me know what you guys think I should name it. It's for you. So what do you guys want to call it? That would be really cool. So yeah, so I haven't really been watching any TV shows per se, but I've been watching lots of YouTube videos, and I'm excited to soon be watching the final season of Girls, which I'm, sad it's ending, but I think it's ending while it's ahead, and I'm really excited to see how it all ties up. And that's starting in February. And then after that, Pete Holmes, my friend and the comedian who hosts the podcast You Made It Weird, his show Crashing is airing on HBO, which I'm really excited to watch, and I just know is going to be fantastic. So I'm really excited about that. Also, in the category of watching things, or new category, I guess, movies, I've seen a lot of really great movies. I already talked all about Moonlight last month, but I loved Moonlight. I think everyone needs to see it. It's become a cliche now, but it's so beautiful and it's so good, and I was so happy with it. I loved it so much. And La La Land, of course, same thing. I loved it so much. There's this episode of Fresh Air with a director that was really great. It was really cool to hear him talk about the inspiration and writing the film and musicals in general and people's, opinions about musicals, and how this one really kind of brought everyone together at this tumultuous time that we're in right now. And anyway, I highly suggest that episode of Fresh Air with Terry Gross, and all the episodes of Fresh Air with Terry Gross, but that one in particular with the director of La La Land was particularly fantastic. I also saw Jackie with Natalie Portman. I thought she was so great acting as Jackie Kennedy, and I love history and I love the Kennedys, and I really, really enjoyed that movie. It was so beautiful and so well done. So those are the ones, the really Oscar buzz ones that I've seen so far. I really want to see Manchester by the Sea. I haven't yet, but I'm planning to go maybe this weekend. And I really want to see Lion with Nicole Kidman as well. And I think there's a couple other ones I really want to see. Nocturnal Animals? No, that's not the one. Arrival. That's the one I want to see. Maybe I want to see both of them. Let me know. Have you guys seen them? What else do I need to see this year in general? I want to know. I watched 10 Things I Hate About You when I was in Columbus visiting Simi and Tim, and I forgot how much I loved that movie. It's so good. And if you read Taming of the Shrew in high school, it's like based off of that, but in modern day. And there's so many winks to Shakespeare in it. And I forgot how much I loved that movie. So it's that perfect time of the 90s. And it's so good. if you haven't seen it, watch it. If you've seen it, watch it again. It's on Netflix. I think it's fantastic. Food. What have I been eating? Food is always hard because I eat like the same 4 things, but I love sweet potatoes, especially this time of year when it's cold. I've been making them a lot. I really love the Japanese variety. And there's these coconut oil tortilla chips that my friend Amanda turned me on to, which I think the brand is, I don't know, I'll link it in the show notes, but they're made with coconut oil, which steers clear of canola oil, which is kind of nice. And I find that canola oil kind of makes me break out. It's probably not everyone, but it's not great for us, and it does that to me. So the coconut oil tortilla chips are so good. I just love how they taste. And they're organic, non-GMO corn, which is great, and they're great dipped in salsa or guac or whatever dip you want to dip them in, or just on their own. And I've really been enjoying those. And I've been enjoying food-wise. What else have I been eating? I'm trying to think. Oh, that chocolate, that monk fruit sweetened chocolate I mentioned last month. I'm still eating a ton of that. And Dr. John's candies and a lot of tea. Have you guys ever had kukicha tea? It's really good. They have it at, I think it's a macrobiotic tea, but they have it at Suin, my favorite restaurant in New York. That's a macrobiotic place, which I love. They brew it really well there. And my favorite place here in Detroit, in Ferndale, where I live, it's called Om Cafe, and it used to be a macrobiotic place. Now it's just a vegan place, but they have really great kukicha tea there as well. And I started to buy the tea bags and just make it for myself more often, which I really love. And I really also love Tulsi Tea. I like the rose one. Sometimes it tastes like soap to me. Sometimes I really like it. Depends on the day. But Tulsi Tea is so good. It's an adaptogen, and it's holy basil, and it's calming, and it's great. So I really like that. And I think that's kind of it.
If you know
person, like I said, getting back to that category, the person I've been really into is Jessica Renan. She is so kind to me. She's so helpful and sweet and just a great friend. She will be on the podcast in a full episode really soon, but she has a cookbook coming out called One Part Plant, which is the name of her podcast and blog, and it's these really great plant-based recipes that are delicious, and I just can't wait for the cookbook to be out. And like I mentioned earlier, she's starting this new podcast where she's talking about how she got the cookbook deal and really getting into that, which I can't wait to listen to as well. Oh, another person I was going to say was my favorite person was the Obamas. I just love them so much, and I just think they're class acts, and I can't wait to see what they all do next. And I'm kind of sad that I'll never feel as connected to a president again. I felt very much like he was, like a fun dad or like my cool uncle, and which is weird because I don't know him, but I felt like I did, which was pretty cool. Anyway, so thank you, President Obama, for being the president for 8 years. That was really cool of you.
I think I'm never wrong.
Book. I am reading, or rereading rather, The Artist's Way, and I'm going through it, all the exercises in it, with my friend Val, friend of the podcast, Valerie Cheney, who came on about a year ago. She's so great, and we're going through it together, and we're actually kind of recording our progress with it. So it will be something you can listen to, and maybe you want to do it along with us. But that's been pretty cool. It's been great to be back on journaling morning pages, which has been lovely, and doing the practices in it, like the artist dates. And have you done The Artist's Way? Let me know. I'd love to know. It's Julia Cameron's book, and it's really, really cool and good. And I think I'm on like week 4 going through it right now as I'm recording this. And I'm also reading Emily Gordon's book, Super You. Emily Gordon is so cool. She's just, oh gosh, she's the coolest. She's my dream podcast guest. If you want to help me get her on the podcast, maybe tweet at her and me, or I don't know. I would love to have her on the podcast. So that, I'm just putting that out there into the universe. Hopefully it happens. And I love her book. Again, it's very experiential. There's a lot of journaling exercises in there. She used to be a therapist, and now she's a comedy writer, a TV writer. She has a movie coming out with her husband, Kumail, who's a comedian, and it's going to be out this year. it just premiered at Sundance, and I'm really, really excited about Zoe Kazan is playing her in the movie, and I can't wait to see it. So that's exciting.
A psychic read my lifeline, told me in my lifetime my name will help light up the Chicago
I also
skyline.
just have a couple like random things that don't really fit in categories, but I've been back using the jade egg. And remember Kim Anami, who I had on like a really long time ago about vaginal kung fu and sexuality and femininity, and that was such a transformative episode for me. And I did her course, Vaginal Kung Fu, which is actually launching again right now. If you want to sign up for that, the link is in the show notes to do that. Sign up through that link. But anyway, I got back into using my jade egg this month, and it's good. I think it's good to do that. Anyway, I'm just trying it, and I like it so far. So my best friend Amanda and I, when we were in LA, we were like, let's do this together. We went to the Korean spa. Have you guys ever been to the Korean spa? It is, I want to move in there. It's so cool. There is a jade floor that you lay on, and it's warm and it heals you, and it's really, really lovely. So that we were lying on the jade floor, and we were like, we should get back to using the jade egg, and we should both do it and talk about it and like have this accountability for it. So we've been doing it, and I think it's been good. I think it's been a good thing to do. So anyway, take it or leave it, but that's something else I've been doing this month. And I'm speaking a bunch of places. I mentioned this in the last episode of the podcast, but the day I'm recording this right now, this will have already happened. I hope it was great, but I'm speaking at Soho House in Chicago on Sunday. I'm leaving tomorrow morning early on the train, and I'll be there. I'm so excited. I'm doing a workshop about journaling, and I'm doing a live podcast episode with my friend Rose for her new podcast, which I'm so excited about. It's called Infrequently Asked Questions. It's going to be amazing. And then in April, on the 22nd, which is my lucky number, 22, I'm speaking at the Good Festival. And that's really exciting because so many of my friends are also speaking and also going to be there. Podcast guests like Talia from Party in My Plants, she's going to be also speaking. The Balanced Blonde, Jordan Younger, she's speaking and teaching yoga. Jessica Mernan, who I already mentioned, she is speaking. And my friend Simi is coming with me, so you're going to get to meet Simi. And my friend Katie from Women Against Negative Talk, she will be there. She's speaking as well. And the girls who are hosting it, putting it on, are, oh my gosh, you guys, they are so sweet. They are seriously so, so, so nice. I cannot get over how much I am obsessed with them, and I'm so grateful they invited me to speak. But if you guys want to come, you should. It's in Philadelphia on April 22nd. Please, please, please come. If we could get a lot of podcast listeners there, oh my gosh, I would be so happy. That would be so cool. So I really want to meet you guys. If you want to come, you can get $10 off your ticket, and it's still early bird ticket, so get them quickly. But $10 off, you use the code Katie Dalebout, my full name, 10. So that's Katie Dalebout 10 for $10 off of your ticket. All caps, Katie Dalebout, my name. You know how to spell it, I hope. If you don't, let me know. I'll tell you. But Katie Dalebout 10, and that's $10 off of any ticket. So that's that. And then I'm also going to be speaking at Wanderlust in Vermont in June, at the end of June. So I'll be there doing 2 talks, one about body image and food, and the other one about journaling. So they're like 20-minute-ish talks. And a bunch of my friends, again, other podcast guests, will be there as well. I can't wait. I think my voice is going up when I'm talking. I don't know why I'm doing that. I don't know. I'm just really, really happy to be here talking to you guys as usual. And thank you for letting me just be chill and be myself and I didn't really prepare for this, clearly. But I love you guys, and I wanted to get this recorded and just kind of tell you about some stuff that I've been loving. All right. Love you guys. Let me know how you're feeling, how you're doing, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to know. Oh, I meant to, ask for questions in the Facebook group and answer them this time. I was going to do that, but I forgot. So I promise I'll do that next time. Or maybe I could do it like in the intro before one of the podcast episodes or something. If you want to leave a question, go ahead and leave them in the Facebook group. Join the Facebook group if you're not there already. And the emoji for this episode is one of my favorite emojis, actually, which is I'm going to call it the pow. It's like a pow. I don't know how to explain it. It's red and orange. Oh gosh, this is probably bad. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, just tweet at me the lightning bolt. I also love that one. I like to put these two together. I think it's really powerful. It's I don't know what to call it other than pow. It's like a firebolt. It sounded firebolt. It's not the fire one. If anyone knows what that's called, let me know. I'll just put the emoji in the show notes, so hopefully you can see it. Anyway, I love you guys. I said that about 1,000,000 times, and I will talk to you really soon. Oh, and shout out to FreshBooks, our sponsor for this episode, and for a bunch of episodes. If you haven't tried FreshBooks, go to freshbooks.com/letitout and list Let It Out in the How Did You Hear About Us section. I'm so grateful for FreshBooks for existing because they make cloud accounting so easy, especially with tax season coming up. They help you track your expenses. You can change your colors. They're so user-friendly, and I'm just really grateful that they're giving all of you guys a free 30-day trial. So check that out, and I will talk to you guys really soon. Love you. Bye. The track you're hearing behind me now is by a guy named Kanye West. Have you heard of him? And the song is called I Wonder.